Hi there, and welcome to Aligned Fitness Living. It's Mike Thornton, your transformation coach, and I'm excited to bring you module number 2 today. Module number 2 is, I think, the one that everybody kind of circles on their calendar because it's aligned eating. And what exactly does aligned eating look like? How do we align ourselves with certain guidelines that are going to help us get on track, stay on track, and live it as a fitness lifestyle? And we've got a ton of information to share with you. So what we're going to do is we're going to break this up into different videos so that we're not overwhelming you with so much information, because this is probably the module that has the most information in it. And besides that, I also want to make sure we're doing this right. And a way that would not be right is to say, here's everything you need to know about eating right, and here's the food list you need to follow, and here's the here's the meal plans. I know everybody wants to get their hands on the meal plans. Just tell me what to eat so I can eat it. But that's so the old way of doing things, right? The old way of doing things is give me something to follow, okay? And we're gonna do that. We're gonna give you a tool that you can use. But before we do that, we want to learn. We want to change the way we think about food. We want to change the way that we plan for food. We want to change the way that we prepare each week. And that's where the real lifestyle change comes in, is when we change what's up here. And, what's up here dictates our actions. Actions dictate our habits, and our habits create a lifestyle. If we're in the habit of just saying, hey, give me something to follow temporarily, then our results are going to be very temporary as well. So I think you understand that about aligned fitness living, is that this is different. It's meant to feel different. If there's certain things that are challenging you a little bit because you want things quicker or you just want to be told what to do, that's not this program. And I think you know that from the beginning. But it's hard to get rid of that mindset. I understand that. It's very hard to keep cycling back, recycling. So I'll keep reminding you, okay? But what we're going to do is, for module number 2, aligned eating, I want to think back, and maybe you didn't get a chance to see it, but we had a free video that we gave away that was the 5 secrets of fitness lifestylers. Okay, the 5 secrets of fitness lifestylers. They're right here, and I'm going to go through them very quickly, okay? Number 1 is that they know their numbers. People that are living a true fitness lifestyle, they know their numbers. They know how many calories they're supposed to take in. They know how many carbohydrates they're supposed to take in. They know how much protein they need in their diets. They know how much fat they should have in their diets. And you're thinking, okay, well, just tell me what those numbers are. The challenge is we're all unique. We all have different numbers. And your numbers are different from my numbers. And your numbers are also different as you age. Your numbers are also different as your activity level changes. Your numbers are also different based on what your goal is. Are you trying to lose weight, maintain weight, gain muscle size? So those are some things that you need to know. And we're going to cover that in this module. They also know their quantities. And that doesn't mean that they measure their food every single day. We're going to talk about that in this particular video. But they know their quantities. They know the amount of food that they're putting into their bodies. They eat to live, and they not live to eat. All right? Which means they make guided decisions based on, we've already talked about this, right? Hopefully you've been working on your 5-minute mindset for food, but what your empowering beliefs are, and focusing on those, what your mission is, what your purpose is, and that vision that we've created. So hopefully you've been doing that up until this point. That's all I asked you to do for week 1, was to focus on those for 5 minutes a day. That's it, okay? They also, people that live a true fitness lifestyle, they have set meal times. When to eat, how much to eat, and when to eat, and how frequently, and so forth. But they have set meal times for themselves, so there's not a question of, when am I going to have lunch today? They know. And they prepare their food ahead of time. So what we're going to do, that's kind of an oversimplification, right? There's a lot of little points inside of each one of these that we want to cover. So what I've done is I've broken this up into a 4-video series. And because here's what I want to do. I want to try to make this speedy for you today. So if I'm going quick, it's because I want to respect your time. And there's so much information. So each video I'm going to aim for, don't start timing me yet because I'm still just previewing what we're doing for this entire week. But each video I'm going to aim for about 20 to 25 minutes. Maybe it'll be shorter. It might be a little bit longer, but I'm going to really try to keep it to that So in video 1, that's this video that you're watching right now, we're going to cover the 5-minute mindset when it comes to eating, mindful eating. I sent you an email on this, and hopefully you've already started to kind of use this idea, but we're going to get in depth with it. We're going to talk about how to control cravings with questions. If you saw the free video that I did on the 5 secrets of fitness lifestylers, then you might have already heard about this one, but I want to talk a little bit more in depth about how to control your cravings with questions. We're going to talk about knowing your quantities and the 3 tools that you must absolutely have in your kitchen. And then setting your meal times, how many times per day, when, and why. That's what we're going to cover in this video, video number 1. Video number 2, and I'm just going to highlight it really quick, but this is where we get into your specific fitness formula for you, your unique formula, your fitness formula for your goals. We're going to talk about calories, how many, what types of calories you should be taking in, and why. Same thing with carbohydrates. How many, what types, and why. Protein, how many, what types, and why, and fats as well. And then in video number 3 is all about being prepared. I'm going to give you my exact shopping list and why it's created the way that it is. I'm going to give you my proven meal plans, but please don't wait until video 3 to say, now I'm going to check in on this whole aligned eating thing. The action steps I'm going to ask you to take, I need you taking those steps, because that's how we're changing belief systems, we're changing actions, we're changing habits, we're changing a lifestyle. And part of that is making sure we're not just saying, give me the meal plans so I can get to work, right? Okay. So video 3, my proven meal plans, also my 5-minute formula for food prep. Doesn't that sound good? That you're not spending hours upon hours in the kitchen, right? How to stay on track when you're eating out, and then sensible supplementation. So sensible supplementation, I'm going to carry that over to video 4. And what I want to tell you about this is a bonus video. Okay, I'm going to cover all the stuff about aligned eating in the first 3 videos. You're going to have all the information that you need to know for my formula for aligned eating. But video 4, I'm going to throw it out there, and you can pick it up if you want to. It's a bonus video. I'm going to send it to everybody. But one of the things that I get asked a lot with food is, well, shouldn't I get all of my micronutrients and macronutrients, shouldn't I get all of that from whole foods? And the answer is yes. In a perfect world, you would get everything that you need, nutrients-wise, in whole foods. The challenge is that it's not a perfect world, and sometimes things come up, and sometimes we need something that's quick, or sometimes we're not getting enough protein in our diet, and we need to know a way that we can get that protein in. Sometimes we have energy needs and so forth. So this is, again, it's a bonus video, and I have no problem telling you that what I'm going to share with you is supplementations, a supplement company that I'm a part of. And I'm a part of it for a reason, because I take them. I take them for me. They work. I've shared them with other people. They've been around for a very long time, and I'm going to share that with you. Whether or not you decide that you want to purchase something or not, that's beside the point. I want to share the information with you so that you have it. And that's it. Because again, supplementation is a big part of what I do. And I have a lot of other people that are in my life that I've worked with that are on supplementation as well, because it makes sense for them. And that's why we call it sensible supplementation. We don't have magic diet pills and things like that. We don't have any magic formula that you can eat anything that you want and never work out, and it's going to make the pounds just drop off of you. That's not what we're talking about here. So look for video 4. It's a bonus. You can actually even look at some of the supplementation that I talk about, and if there's another brand out there that you think is better, or you want to go get it somewhere else, that's fine. But I'm going to share with you what we do with supplementation, okay? So those are the 4 videos. What we're going to start with today is the 5. Now, start your clock, okay? I'm aiming for 20 to 25 minutes, and I really hope we stay on track. The 5-minute mindset. Doesn't this woman look very pensive? Yes. Because she's thinking about it. She's thinking about her food, right? The 5-minute mindset basically works like this. And I shared this with you in an email, but if you didn't get it, here we go. You basically, with the 5-minute mindset, I told you we were going to be using the 5-minute mindset in many different areas of fitness. And meal planning and food is a huge part. So 5-minute mindful eating starts like this. You spend the first 5 minutes of your meal answering a series of questions. Those questions might be, what do I think the quality of this food is that I'm putting into my body? What does it taste like? How, when I eat these types of food, does it make me feel? Does this food move me closer to my goals or move me farther away from my goals? And you just spend some time thinking about what you're putting into your body. It's not that hard, So you spend about 5 minutes as you're eating your food, taste it, ask yourself, how does this taste? And then take 30 seconds to answer yourself. If you're questioning, does it move me closer to your goals? Think about what you're eating. Look at the quality of the food that you're eating. Look at the quantity of the food that you're eating. And just think about those things. It's really not that difficult, but what happens so many times is that we don't stop to think about what we're putting into our bodies. It's mindless eating, okay? And when you just stop and slow down to think about what you're putting into your body, number one, it's going to change the pace at which you eat, okay? But number two is it's going to make you make guided decisions. And that's what this whole process is about, right? Aligning ourselves, our decision making and our habits and our lifestyle with certain things that are aligned with our empowering beliefs and our mission and our vision for ourselves of where we want to be, right? You start to understand this whole aligned concept, because if your belief system about where you want to be and your purpose and your vision, they all look great, they're over here, this is what you want, but then we're making decisions that guide us in a different way, we're not aligned, right? So you spend your first 5 minutes of your meal just answering those questions to yourself. Now, can you do this in the company of other people? Absolutely. And if you think, well, I can't, I'm at a business meeting or I'm eating with friends or they'll judge me, just do it you do it up here. You're just, you can sit there and have a conversation and be looking at the quality of your food at the same time. I promise you can do it. So don't let those limiting beliefs try to keep you from doing this, okay? But after 5 minutes, you set your fork down and you spend the next 5 minutes changing your focus from food to something else. That might be conversation with the people that you're with. That might be, if you're by yourself, looking around and observing the atmosphere that you're in. Maybe you have a book that you can read. Maybe you just sip your water. Maybe you just relax. Maybe you just take 5 minutes for yourself and just sit there in silence. Wouldn't that be nice, right? But you change your focus from food, you set your fork down, and for 5 minutes, and you know that in 5 minutes you can pick that fork back up and continue eating if you choose to. Now, what you want to ask yourself at the end of 5 minutes is, am I still hungry? So after 5 minutes, you can eat for 5 more minutes if you're still hungry, okay? Now, hungry, if you're still hungry, talk about what that looks like. No longer hungry. Not, oh my gosh, I'm so full. We're not trying to get to, oh my gosh, I'm so full. We're not trying to get, oh, I'm so stuffed. I've eaten enough. We're not trying to get miserable. And it's also not still wanting to eat the food that's in front of you. And that's important. You spend 5 minutes eating. The first 5 minutes, asking yourself questions, thinking about, does it move you closer or pull you farther away? The quality of the food, what does it taste like? How does it make you feel? You set your fork down. You spend 5 minutes focusing on something else. After 5 minutes, now we're 10 minutes into the meal, right? Here's what usually happens. In the first 5 minutes, you've probably already eaten enough, and your body will send a signal to your brain that says, I'm no longer hungry. Okay? But what happens sometimes is we're in such a hurry that we eat so much, we eat at such a quick pace, and the food these days that we eat is so energy rich, that's a way of saying it has way too many calories, okay, that we exceed the amount that we should have eaten because we didn't give our body enough time to send a signal to our brain that we were no longer hungry, okay? So, but what happens if you are still hungry? Well, then you pick up your fork and you eat for another 5 minutes. And then you set your fork down. You're going to continue this pattern, 5 minutes on, 5 minutes off, until you're no longer hungry. And we have a really good idea what that means. It's not full, not stuffed, not miserable, not bloated, not any of that uncomfortable stuff. It's not you still wanting the food that's in front of you. You know, I don't know what you're eating. Maybe you're eating something that you really like. But if you say, nah, I really still want to eat that, that's different than needing to eat it because there's hunger. Okay? So separate those two things. Just because you want doesn't mean that you need, okay? And that's all I'm asking you to do with 5-minute mindful eating. Totally doable, right? This is the part where you say right, because that's an empowering belief. When you believe that this is doable, because it is. This is something you can do. Okay, now what about cravings? This woman, obviously, in this picture, was not doing the 5-minute mindful eating. No, she had a craving. She wanted to stuff her face with something like that, okay? Great picture, right? So how do we handle cravings? We control cravings with questions. Control cravings with questions. We're not animals, right? We don't have to have a stimulus and then just respond and react without thinking about how we want to react. We have the ability as human beings to say, all right, something has stimulated me. I really want it. But then we get to think before we react. A lot of times we don't do that. But I'm going to give you a tool called Control with Questions that you can use. So now we have something to put there for you to use. It's not just, or what am I supposed to think about and how do I control these cravings? You have a tool. Here it is. Align yourself with this tool. You ask yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, how badly do I want it? If I'm only at a 1 through 8, it can wait. If I'm at a 9 through 10, let the questions begin. Okay? Little rhyme for you. Rhymes never hurt anybody, did they? No, rhymes are fun. I like to use them. They help us remember things. So on a scale of 1 to 10, because guess what? It's not either I want it or I don't want it. There's different levels of want. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how badly do I want it? If I'm at a 1 through 8, guess what? It can wait. I'm telling myself that. But if I'm at a 9 through 10, let the questions begin. Question. Do I really want the food or the drink, or the beverage? Or do I want what I think it will bring me? Do I really want a greasy hamburger with French fries? Or do I think it'll help me reduce my stress? Do I think it will give me comfort because I'm not feeling good about myself? Do I really want the food or drink? Or do I want what I think it will bring me? Okay? Will it really bring me that? Or will it bring me something else that I don't want? For example, I mentioned, comfort. Sometimes we eat emotionally because we don't feel good about ourselves, or there's stress in our lives, and so we drive by the fast food restaurant and we crave something, and we think I gotta have that because we think really it's not the food, but we think, man, that will reduce my stress, or that will comfort me in this time where I don't feel good about myself. But then if you stop and you say, will it really bring me that? Will it really make me feel good about myself? Stop and think. Well, no, probably not, because every time this happens, I always felt guilty afterwards. And I know that it makes me feel sluggish. It doesn't actually make me feel any better about myself. In fact, it makes me feel worse. Is it really going to reduce my stress? You go through the same series of questions. Do I really want it? Do I want what I think it will bring me? Will it really bring me that, or will it bring me something else? And here's the bottom line. If it really is going to bring you something that you want, then you have it. You have it. If you go, well, no, it's really going to bring me this, and I really do want that, then you have it. This is a fitness lifestyle. And a fitness lifestyle isn't a bunch of perfect people that eat, broccoli and chicken every day and, drink lemon water. Maybe those people are out there. They're probably miserable. My point is that we're not taking things away. We're just controlling cravings with questions. Instead of saying, I either want or I don't, which is black and white, okay? We talked about that in the different types of thinking. I'm either on or I'm off. There's a lot of room in between, and that's the area that we live in. It's not black or white. There's a lot of color in between, and the color is where we live. That is where the fitness lives. Doesn't it feel better to live in color than black and white? Of course. So that's how we control with questions. Now, there's 2 other major keys to controlling the food that you put into your body. Okay? Number 1 is knowing your quantities, and number 2 is having set meal and snack times. Set times for yourself, okay? Let's get into the quantities first. Quantities, your 3 must-have tools in your kitchen. Okay, now don't check out. Stay with me. A food scale. Measuring cups. Measuring spoons. All things that measure quantities, folks. Okay? Now, here's what I don't want you to check out. Let's get into this. Temporary versus permanent. Hold on, Mike. You told me something about, well, you know, I'm not going to have to measure everything for the rest of my life, right? Didn't you say that? And I did. And then you also say, okay, well, then if I'm only going to measure things temporarily, isn't that taking a temporary approach to something that I want to change permanently? Yeah, it might sound that way on the surface, but this is a permanent approach. And here's what I want you to think about. When you're learning a language, which you probably can speak English pretty fluently, right? I bet. But when you're learning, you have to learn the letters, and you have to learn the sounds that they make, and you have to learn what they sound like when you put them together, and then you learn, you know, about syllables and punctuation, and pretty soon, you know, as you learn how these things, you know how to speak very well, and you know how to write, and you know language. Same thing with numbers. You know, we start by learning numbers, and then we learn how to add them together, and then we learn how to subtract them, and then we learn how to multiply them. I bet if I asked you right now, what's 5 times 5, you would say, right, 25. You know this, it's ingrained in you, and you don't have to sit there and think about it too long, right? I bet if I asked you to spell, just look at the little dog and cat, or even something a little bit more complicated. You know how to spell it. Okay? Because you've learned it. It's there. It's in your mind now. And I want you to understand that that's the same thing when it comes to food. Okay? When you don't try to learn the entire English language in every word in the dictionary when you're just learning how to spell, right? You don't try to learn these huge, you know, impossible equations if you don't know how to count yet, right? If you don't know how to do basic arithmetic and algebra. So that's all that this is, this whole learning approach. By the end of this thing, you're going to have so much knowledge inside here that it's going to just start coming out of you without you having to overthink it. So I want you to understand that when it comes to learning, you know, how many calories are in certain foods, we're going to learn along the way, okay? But also with quantities. So let's go back to our permanent approach. Align yourself with these rules, okay? This is how you're going to understand that this is a lifestyle. First time, and this is your homework assignment for this video, make sure you have these tools, and if you don't, you can go get them at any, you know, supermarket, okay? Have these tools, okay? First time. If this is your first time measuring your food, or it's been a very long time, you're going to measure everything for 1 week. Okay? You're going to measure everything. Now, I'm not telling you what to eat yet. Okay? I just want you to measure. So if you're having a chicken breast, I want you to weigh it. I want you to see how many ounces it is. And I want you to guess before you weigh it and see how far you are off. Because you might be on the money, and that's great. But I want you to measure everything. If you think that's a cup of pasta, I want you to measure it and, you know, look at and see what a cup of pasta looks like. So I want you to measure everything. Now, do you have to be doing this at work or when you go out to eat or whatever? No. In those situations, you do the best that you can. But for work, you can definitely measure something and then take it with you to work, and then you'll know. But the name of the game is not for this week, because I want you to start measuring, starting tonight if you can. But the name of the game is not to get it right 100% and know exactly what you're taking in calories-wise. No, we're going to talk about calories in the next video. What the point is to get an idea and start to learn and to teach your mind what 1 cup of that does look like, what 2 tablespoons of that does look like, what 4 ounces of that does look like. And you're learning, you're teaching, you're giving your brain images that will help you the next time around. If you weigh out, you know, your rice or beans or pasta or whatever, or you're measuring it out each time, if you see it enough times, then pretty soon you're going to know, I don't need my measuring cup anymore. So you're going to measure everything for 1 week. Doable? Yes, because that's an empowering belief. If you tell yourself, I don't have time, get rid of it. Change it. Restructure it. Everybody's got time. Okay, after 1 week, guess what you get to do? Stop measuring and trust your judgment. See, you're not doing it for the rest of your life, and it's also not a temporary approach. Here's why. Because each month, and let's just say it's the first of the month, the first Monday of the new month, you're going to recalibrate. You're going to basically go in and see how far on or off you are. Okay, so for 1 day, you just measure your stuff again. It's that simple. If you're on, stop measuring and wait till next month. If you're off, measure for 3 days and then stop measuring and trust your judgment again. All you're doing is recalibrating the images in your mind with what's actually true. Because we will get off. It happens. So don't be disappointed, but that's how we live a fitness lifestyle, is we come back around to. And that becomes part of our habits. Okay? So it's real easy. Wash, rinse, and repeat for life. Very simple formula. Take a week. Learn what those measurements look like. Okay? Spend time. That's you learning the basic arithmetic. That's you learning, the letters of the alphabet. And really, get those images in your mind. Okay? Then stop measuring and trust your judgment. But make sure you always circle back around, and recalibrate. If you're on, great. You're on. If you're off, give it a couple days of remeasuring, get your measurements down, and then you're off to eating without measuring again. Okay? This is for everything for 1 week. You can do it. And that's how we make it a lifestyle. It's not a temporary approach because you're going to do it over and over again. And I don't know if you saw the video that I shared with you at the time, the 5 secrets of fitness lifestylers and what they do with food. We talked about measuring your food, and I told you in that video that my wife and I were at that recalibrate point. We were measuring our food, and we had found out that some of the things we thought had gotten off a little bit. Right now, I'm not measuring, okay? And guess what? I'll cycle back around to it. That's what we do as fitness lifestylers. So, let's move from measuring, because that's all I'm going to tell you about measuring right now, okay, is setting your meal times. How many times per day? Well, you should try to eat 5 to 6 times throughout the day. That's usually 3 meals and 2 to 3 snacks, all right? A meal is typically between 300 to 500 calories. Now, we're starting to talk about some specifics, and you haven't learned yet how many calories you need, but that's okay, because we're going to outline that in video number 2, but I want you to start to be able to kind of formulate this in your mind, okay? You're eating 5 to 6 times throughout the day. Now, I know some of you just had this little voice say, I don't have time to eat 5 to 6 times a day. Go back to module number 1, please, and then return to this once you've changed that limiting belief, okay? Good. Meal. Typically between 300 to 500 calories. Now, I'm going to tell you something right now, and we're going to get into how to make good choices when we eat out in video 3, but most meals that you order out are going to be much higher than that. Okay, so the 5-minute mindset and taking 5 minutes is really important, making sure that you take those steps, okay? A snack is typically between 100 to 200 calories, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little bit more. Now, that's a big range, right? 300 to 500 calories. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you are a 5'2" woman that wants to lose weight. Well, you might be aiming for somewhere between 12 to 1300 calories. That's just a ballpark estimation. You are going to learn exactly what your numbers are in the next video. So hang tight. We're just giving examples here. So you might have a 300-calorie breakfast, a 100-calorie snack, a 300-calorie lunch, a 100-calorie snack, a 300-calorie dinner, and a 100-calorie snack, and voila, you're at 1,200 calories, okay? Here's a formula for maybe a guy that's trying to lose a little bit of weight, or maybe even maintain his weight, that's aiming for 2,100 calories. He might have 3 meals at 500, and he might have 3 snacks at 200, okay? But you see that you're spacing out those calories throughout the day. What you're not doing is saying, okay, well, if I can eat 1,200 calories, I'm just going to save it up, baby. I'm going to save it all up, and I'm going to have whatever I want for dinner, and I'm going to eat as much as I want to. Well, let me give you the fiery furnace example. Your metabolism, your digestive system, where you burn calories. Okay, I want you to think of it as like a coal burning stove or furnace. And what we want to do is we want to keep that metabolism, we want to keep that fire going throughout the day. There's a reason for that. When your metabolism is going, you burn calories more rapidly. Okay? If you feed that fire periodically throughout the day, it continues to burn. All right? But what happens if you don't feed it and the fire starts to extinguish? And then all of a sudden you come and you shovel in this huge amount of coal. You're going to squash the fire. There's no way, because there's no existing fire, that's going to be able to burn all that coal that you just put in there. And you're going to end up storing that coal, right? Now, of course, we're talking about food. And we're not talking about a stove. We're talking about you, okay? When you put food into your body periodically throughout the day, evenly throughout the day, then you continue to burn efficiently. If you don't put food into your body, your metabolism starts to slow down. That fire in your body starts to diminish, okay? And then if you just throw all those calories in at the same time, your body will not be able to use those calories. It's going to start storing. And so that obviously goes against what we're trying to do here. So you want to eat throughout the day. Now, what are the ideal times? I don't know if you figured this out or not, but that is a drum roll. Drum roll, please, because this is what everybody wants to know, right? You're going to tell me I have to eat this time and this time and this time, and I can't eat past 6 o'clock, right? Drum roll, please. Whatever works best for you. It's true. It's whatever works best for you. I happen to teach classes in the evening, and when I get home and get the kids to bed, a lot of times I'm eating at 9 o'clock. Well, isn't there a rule that says I can't eat after 6 o'clock? No. That's old way of thinking, folks. You eat whatever works best for you. Now, here's what you do need to know. You need to have set times throughout the day. So you decide what works best for you, and then you use the belief in the language to make sure that is when you do it. You create those beliefs that say, I always have breakfast right before I leave for work. Or I always have my first snack at 10 a.m. I know when I'm going to have it. Lunch is always on my schedule for 12 p.m. I always have my second snack at 3 p.m. Dinner is always at 6 p.m. and I always have my final snack at 9 p.m. Okay? Now, will you be off sometimes? Sure. But get it ingrained what times you're going to eat so that there's no question in your mind. So look at your day, look at your calendar, look at your week, and figure out what times work best for me and have set times. Remember, the 5 secrets that fitness lifestylers have when it comes to eating right and getting it right is one of those secrets is they have set times. Okay? You don't just wander and then you go, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. What's the closest place where I can get something to eat and then eat? Okay? So you have set times, but they are whatever work best for you. Okay? A little freedom in that, right? So I hope I stuck to our time schedule. Right now, all I want you to do is focus on having your 3 tools, measuring everything for 1 week starting today. 1 week. You can give me 1 week. I know you can. Because we're talking about changing a fitness lifestyle. And I know you know that's important and that it takes a little bit of work. Okay? You're also focusing on your 5-minute mindset as you sit down to eat. Okay? And by the way, that's something that you get to move away from as well. All right? You're just going to recalibrate every once in a while with your 5-minute mindset. You're focusing on your 5-minute mindset in the morning. Let's start there. You're spending your 5-minute mindset in the morning looking at your empowering beliefs, your purpose, and your vision. And you're going through that mental vision as well. I've now added in, I want you focusing on your 5-minute mindful eating, spending your first 5 minutes thinking about what you're putting into your body. Is it moving you closer? Is it pulling you farther away? Okay, what does it taste like? How does it make you feel? And so forth. And measuring. I want you to start your measuring everything for 1 week. Remember, you don't have to do it past a week. So give me this 1 week of measuring your food. Okay. If cravings come along, I want you to control them with questions. 1 through 8, it can wait. 9 and 10, let the questions begin. Is it really going to bring me what I think it's going to bring me, or is it going to bring me something else? Okay. Control it with questions. I also want you to make sure that you have your set meal times. Set meal times. Decide what those meal times are going to be. Okay? Do you see how much when we're talking about changing habits, there's a lot more. I haven't even told you what to eat yet, because that's not important. If you can't change the habits, if you can't change the way that you're thinking about food, if you can't make sure that you have set times where you're going to eat the things that you want, when you want, if you don't know what quantities are and what they look like, and you're not storing those images in your mind to be successful in the future, what I tell you to eat does not matter. It does not matter, because it will only be temporary. But if you are learning these things, which you're changing your lifestyle. This is about a fitness lifestyle. This is not a diet. This is not something you're going to just do for 8 weeks. We're setting up habits for past 8 weeks. So get your assignments done, okay? Video number 2 will come out tomorrow. We're going to get into your exact fitness formula, your exact food formula. And good news, it's not this equation. I just pulled up, complex equations and dropped an image in here. I don't know what that means. If you know what that means, email me and let me know what that means. But your food formula is not that difficult. And I'm going to show you how to figure it out. And once you know how to figure out your calories, your proteins, your carbs, your fats, you'll know the formula for the rest of your life. You will know it. So it goes to something to say, the old saying, if I give you a meal plan, you eat right for a day or for however long you're following that meal plan. If I teach you how to fish, if I give you the formula, then you can do this for a lifetime. And that's the idea, aligned fitness living. In the meantime, you'll be doing your homework, and I'll be rooting you on.